Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Panu and I am building this 15-meter liveaboard cruising sailboat there in Finland. But right now I'm in France, Cherbourg, and I am participating a sail from here to Canary Islands in next 3 weeks. And for that I wanted to make this video. This is my very first real offshore voyage so far, and I'm really excited, also quite anxious about this trip. I want to see how my guts feels and how everything works and stuff like that, and hopefully I learn a lot of sailing. Hello there and welcome to my channel. My name is Panu and I am building this 15-meter or 50-foot liveaboard sailboat in this channel. And in previous video I mentioned that I'm gonna leave for a sailing trip for 3 weeks, and here I am at the Cherbourg. Unfortunately though, there has been a slight change of plans. On Monday, now it's Wednesday, on Monday we left from harbor there and went 150 meters from the pier, and then our engine stopped, and we have now trying to figure out the engine for 2 days, and it seems that it's not repairable in this schedule anymore, and the weather window we had is gone. So yeah, this 3-week trip kind of went down to the toilet. So this video is gonna continue back in the workshop in just a minute. This was a nice little holiday here in France, and it's beautiful city, nice, and not sunny today, but it has been really nice here. So I came back from the trip and started the boat building again by sanding the second beam. It's necessary to sand the surface from the excess epoxy to accept the next layers. This is the thing I have already done for the other side earlier this summer. It's now late August and the temperatures have now dropped significantly, and it's now nice and cozy in here. Something like 15 degrees or a little bit less, and I think that is perfect for using epoxy again with big glue ups like these. And today I'm planning to glue up this side of the beam, the rest of the layers, the 3 remaining layers. They're all waiting there, ready to go. And yeah, there shouldn't be any kind of significant issues with this. It's pretty straightforward, just spreading some epoxy on those boards over there and then on this surface, and then go layer by layer and piece by piece. And then I have these little bit longer screws to screw them in to hold them in place while the glue is curing. So I think there's nothing more, just starting to mix some epoxy and go from there. We'll see how long this takes. It's pretty straightforward, as mentioned, I think, so it shouldn't take that long, but I've been wrong before about that, so it might take some 8 hours or something like that. But I hope I'm a little bit faster with this, because it's, as mentioned, pretty straightforward. I'll just put some time lapses on in here and we'll see how this goes. All right, it's now 2 hours later and the first layer is in. 2 more to go. So yeah, a little bit slow, but I think I'm getting a little bit faster from here, trying to spread the glue as fast as possible. And I'm using fast hardener because I only have just a small amount of the slow hardener, but I think fast hardener is all right. It's maybe a little bit less than 15 degrees in here, so I think it's just fine to use the fast. But no big issues there, just want to make sure that everything lines up well, because after the epoxy kind of goes a little bit sticky, it's really hard to move these pieces afterwards. So I want to make sure that they are on the right location right away. Yeah, but no time for chat. I need to continue as fast as possible with the epoxy and spread the next layer and go from there. A little bit intensive, but I think I'll manage. I think it turned out okay. It took around 6 hours, what I expected, but yeah, no big surprises. It was intense, but I think I got it early enough before the epoxy started to cure too much. So now there is all 5 layers in this beam on this side. Looks and feels super solid. I have some screws in there just to keep it together, some clamps here and there. I ran out of the long screws, so there's a little bit more clamps back there. Otherwise, I think it looks good. So just a reminder, these 2 layers were glued beforehand. This is all cured, and these 3 additional layers I glued just now. So I let those cure, and then we can clean it up, and it's pretty much done. Of course, we have to do the same thing to the other side. There is 3 layers there missing, so I need to do that in a couple of days, I would say. I need to wait so that the epoxy is cured here in the front, because I need to clean that up before I put additional layers on that side. But all right, this was pretty intense, but pretty much just basic boat building, I would say. Few layers of wood attached to the boat again. Little by little, it's turning into real boat. Not sure what I'm gonna do next. Maybe glue that other side, maybe start making something here on the top side, but we'll see about that. Now I'm gonna go home and relax for the rest of the day. Okay, it's the next day. Yesterday was a good day. I got this beam done, and now it's cured, and it looks very good, very solid, super strong. I'm very happy about this. There's these screws still there. Gonna get them off later. But this is now good, and the other side is waiting. If I have time and energy, I might do that later this week. So we'll see about that. But next I'm gonna do the finishing of the keel timber slot. So as mentioned, I want to take those roundings off from there and finish all the shapes. So that will be ready to go when I am finished with that beam and get the molds in here. So that way we can start with the keel timber soon. And just like that, it's done. The keel timber slot is done. Hopefully I got some amazing 360 time-lapse video with my setup over there. If you don't know, there's my 360 camera, and then I got this wire camera holder thing that moves here by itself. Thanks for my patrons for me to be able to purchase things like that. I think it's great. Anyway, the keel timber slot is now done. Let's go up there and take a look at that. So as you remember from the previous video, I mentioned that I wanted to get the rounding off from here, and now it's off from all the frames. Now it's easier to laminate the actual keel timber here. And yeah, this is flat and good enough for laminating the thing in. Really pleased that is done now. It was quite a big of job to do that in here and over there. That one I finished last time, if you remember that. One thing I noticed when I did this is in here. Let's see. Is in here. Let me turn the camera over. I noticed something here. There is a crack in here, so this whole thing has been cracked in 2 positions at least. From here on this plywood and here on this plywood. And on the other side as well, there's a little bit of a gap there and a crack, and that one as well. That was a little bit of a surprise, but not really that much, because I was kind of expecting this wood to expand when the moisture levels get up when the late summer arrives. So it wasn't really a surprise. This is maybe a few millimeters here and there. It doesn't really matter. This section in here is solid, where is this yes, mast step underneath, so I think that's good. These gaps will be filled with epoxy eventually when I start to make the planking over this thing. We still need to make the final shaping for this. This is still a bit rough. Anyway, so yeah, we might inject some epoxy into those gaps. Not really worried about that, but it might affect the overall. That was a motorcycle speeding. What I was saying, that might affect the overall length of this whole pack, so it might be expanding a little bit from here, but as mentioned, this scale is such a big scale that I'm not really worried about that. There is always going to be some expansion and contraction with moisture and temperature. In this case, this whole wood surface, every wood surface will be covered with epoxy and fiberglass on all sides, so there should be never really moisture in big scale coming into these structures after this is done. But yeah, now when everything is kind of open, it of course expands and contracts with the moisture levels here. This was to be expected. Well, maybe I could have laminated these wood blocks in other direction as well. That could have prevented that, but yeah, the funny thing is that the splitting is happening in these plywood pieces, so not sure why it is like that. Maybe the glue joints in this actual thing are so much stronger than the plywood itself. And just like that, it's Sunday again. It's now a few days after I glued this beam, and it's fully cured now, of course. And I also finished that keel slot. So before we can actually do the keel, we need to, of course, make the other side of the beam. That's because we have these temporary frames here. There's one installed in here, but I have plenty of more waiting over there. I need to put them on before we can laminate the actual keel timber. And they come over this side beam here. So I want to have the side beam completely done before I put the temporary frames in. So that's today's agenda. I have plenty of snacks and equipment here, and I'm gonna laminate the other side of that beam. But before I start, there's a little bit of a cleanup to do here in the front. You can see there's a little bit of epoxy kind of remains there from this glue up, so I need to clean all that up. And I think I'm gonna cut here a little bit of a slot to kind of put the next layers intersecting more nicely with this side. So a little bit of a cutting there, but that shouldn't take more than just a few minutes. Then I think I'm gonna do a dry fit, because I'm not sure, I haven't really dry fitted the other layers with those slots. There's a slot there and a slot here, and all the layers should be able to come through those slots. So I want to dry fit those first so that I'm sure that they will come through. It was a little bit of a squeeze in here, so if it doesn't fit, I need to kind of touch up those slots a little bit so that they allow to come through there. That would be really annoying to find out that they don't fit through those slots when I have glue all over the place. So dry fitting first. But other than that, everything else should be pretty much ready. I have here some cups and rollers and stuff. Need to maybe clean up those a little. And yeah, plenty of epoxy. Yeah, I think that's all. And yeah, I just clean up that quick and then I put time lapse on and we'll see how this comes. It's around 6 hours of work if it goes with the same pace as the other one. Oh, I got more screws this time, so there's now those screws still in there. Maybe I'll get those off. So let's do this today and we'll see what happens next week. I probably will end this video after this job, so we'll continue with the smaller things in the next video. But yeah, really keen to get this beam finally done. Halfway there, kind of. Yeah, it took a little bit longer to prep everything before I started to glue up. It's already pretty late, but it's all right. I'm feeling quite good, except my back is kind of hurting a little. So I was this close to have it cramped one time, but I need to stretch a little bit and move my body a little bit. But now there's 2 layers in here in the front, and I will now continue there in the back. Yeah, this just takes some time to spread the epoxy and mix it all up and stuff. What I did differently a little bit this time, I'm using a little bit thickened epoxy in every layer. I think this thing I did earlier this week, it was a little bit scarce in epoxy. There's not that much of a squeeze out over there. So I didn't use any filler in that epoxy, and I think it was just a little bit too liquid to get enough spread on that board. So now I'm just mixing 1 cup of silica in every batch, and I think it makes it a little bit thicker, and when I roll it up there, it makes it a little bit easier to get a good spread, and it looks very good now. There's plenty of squeeze out enough there. Of course, I underestimated the time that it will take to get this, so I'm a little bit low on my snacks, unfortunately. It takes what it takes, but I need to get this done. I'm not gonna leave it halfway there. Then I would need to sand everything again and make the preparations again. And that is just a waste of time and effort. I will be here as long as it takes, and as you can see, it's actually surprisingly warm, although the day was very kind of fallish. I just invented that word. But yeah, the summer is starting to turn into fall. It's now last day of August. So yeah, tomorrow is September, and in Finnish language that means that the fall will start tomorrow. But yeah, it's surprisingly warm still. It's around 15 degrees or something like that. It's just cloudy and rainy outside. Yeah, my camera setup, they just died. I will put this camera with time lapse on to capture the rest of the stuff. Yeah, I hope I can manage it without cramping my back too badly. It's 15 minutes past 11 the evening, and that is done. Whew, that was quite a stretch for me. My back almost catch up at least 3 different times. It was very close. It was very close. Oh, I need to do something about that. But yeah, now that beam is done, the second beam, both of the beams are now done. Super happy about that. Another sticker out from the wall. Oh, yeah, it went well, smoothly, I would say. No big issues, except for the couple of times the epoxy started to heat up a little bit. I was too slow with the batch. And I think there's a couple of spots where the epoxy kind of hardened too much because of that. But it was still kind of sticky, so I'm sure that there's a chemical bond with everything still. It's 16 degrees in here, so the working time is pretty good, even though I use the fast hardener. Oh, but my body is totally done for tonight. And I think this video is now done for tonight as well. Thank you so much for watching. In this video we got the 2 beams finished and the keel beam slot finished. So I think in next video we are doing at least the temporary frames go in place. Maybe we start to prepare the material for the actual keel timber and additional smaller things. We'll see about that. It all depends really of my work situation, how much time I have to put in that and how much time I can put in this. So that's always the compromise with this, having a full-time job on the side. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to support this channel, remember to subscribe, of course, give me a like, put a comment down below if you have something to say, or if you don't, put a comment down below anyway. And yeah, you can purchase some t-shirts from the links down below. Also, these headphones are affiliate link in the description down below. They are Finnish designed, very good quality headphones. And I suggest you take a look at those, at least if you're in Finland. It's kind of mandatory, I think. Remember, of course, my sponsors of the video, Materialshop.fi and the Green Turtle Epoxy. Although I think the Turtle is, they are not doing that anymore, so we'll see about that. I still have plenty. And of course, thank you for Bosch for sponsoring my work here with some equipment. So we'll see in the next video, and I hope to see you all back in here in the workshop and get this thing done. Thank you and see you later. Bye bye.